You're all clear, kid. Now blow this thing and let's go home. Welcome back, everybody. Here we are, part 2 of issue 100. So this one should prove to be bittersweet. So we're going to start off with the dorsal turret, which is the top turret. We're going to put some parts on there. So all the parts have been painted. I marked it with the issue that it came with because it tells you start with the sprue from issue, in this case, 47. So that's where we're going to start. And first thing we need to do is get some glue out here. We're going to need some of that. But we got all the pieces painted. This one I had to paint both sides. Once I got, looks like I got a little bit better than the other, but I think it's all right. As I was painting, I realized kind of running out of paint. So luckily I kept all of my empty quote unquote cans, and proceeded to go through them, and any that I could get just a little bit more paint out of I used. And I probably used enough to qualify as like half a can or something like that, which is good. It was good that I was able to get that much, because if I have any more painting to do, I'm going to be it's going to be pretty tight. I'll have to go get more, which I really don't want to have to do. And so this one is going to go here. Okay. So let's get started. So this next one, see if you guys can see, there's really small little indents right there and right here. You can see those there. There you go. That's a little better angle. These little tabs here have to go in those indents. So I'm just going to put the glue on these little tabs. All right, that's everything for the dorsal turret. Last part would be to put the actual cannon on, but as you can see, it's kind of shiny. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back with, I've got some clear dull or flat. Here we go. I'm going to paint this with the flat before I put that on. So I don't know how much to thin this. If I can thin it the same amount as I do everything else, or what have you, I'll check that and I'll get that painted, and that'll go on. So there's one empty container. Let's move on to the next one. And this may require us to get, yeah, so it's got you putting that back on. We'll go from 39, which has 3 details for the top of the starboard side corridor. Okay, so we have to go get the top part of the Falcon. I have a feeling the majority of the stuff that we're going to be doing is going to be on the top. So let's see if we can figure out which container has those pieces in it. There's only 3 pieces. Should be in a small little container like this. Here we go. Yeah, here's our pieces. And let me go get that top piece and we'll get started on that. Okay, we are back. So let's see if we can kind of get focused in on. So we're going to be working on, this is the starboard side. And that's the side we're going to be working on here. Stay camera. And first part, well, that's going to be difficult. So the glue is up underneath here. So I'm going to just dump these 3 pieces out there so we can get that out of the road. And this is not the part that I was just working on. This is my spare piece. Now these last 2 pieces I understand putting on, but I don't know why that one couldn't have been molded in. Who knows? Okay, now we need to look for the parts from issue 52. So that was 49. I'm missing a part. Don't panic. I just gotta go find it. Whew. I could not be more fortunate. But honestly, I'm gonna brag a little bit. This is what due diligence and prior preparation helps you with. This, after going through every shipment and making sure that everything was there, I apparently had an issue with 52. And as a result, I have a second sprue from issue 52. Thankfully, I do, because this piece is so small. You can see this little piece here. So this part gets cut off. That's not needed. At least I hope it's not. That's not needed. But this part is so small that like potentially I didn't even have it before. I don't know where in the world it's at, but I'm gonna prep this so that way we can get it mounted. So that's gonna take me a little bit. Got to paint it and all that kind of stuff, clean, blah blah blah. So after I do that, we will resume where we left off, and thankfully I had some spare parts, because getting to the very last issue and finding out that you lost something, not going to be a good way to end this whole thing. I was already trying to figure out if there was any way possible that I could make something to work, but that thing's so small I don't even know where to begin with something like that. So let me go get that stuff taken care of, and then we'll come back when it's all ready to go and resume. So see you guys after a bit. Well, we're back. We have our little piece here that we almost lost, and we're going to get it glued into place. So just looking at the instructions here, and it appears to go right in that hole, if you can see that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to treat this with kid gloves, because last night after I cut it out, I decided, well, I'm going to just clean it up just a little bit. So I go through all the motions to get it cleaned up, and wouldn't you know it, right as I'm setting it all down, it popped out of my hand, and it took me another 45 minutes to find it. So that was fun. And I just dropped it again. So it's a challenge, to say the least. This piece will go in down here, although I don't know how it glues into place. There's a hole here, but it doesn't have a peg on it. I don't know if I sanded that off. If I did, that was pretty stupid on my part. Yeah, it's got a peg on it, but this one does not have that peg. So I don't know what the hell that means. Does that mean I'm going to have to paint this one too to put that on there? Apparently the parts that I cleaned were not the right parts. We're going to try to just glue it flat without putting it on in the hole. But I will put some glue in the hole, just for like a glue reservoir. How straight is that? Straight enough, and it's holding pretty well. Interesting. Well, we'll live with it. It's only marginally stressful. All right. Now we're going to go from number 53. That's 54. Where's 53? Oops. That's 63. 53. Okay. So 53, we got lots of pipes. I'm just going to set those down here. And try to figure out where all of these go. We have lots of holes up here. So Sorry, I was just trying to check to see if this one here was having a hard time sticking down. And I was just trying to see if I could maybe get to it from the bottom and add a little bit extra uh, glue or whatever. But it's down now. I think part of the problem is it's not in the proper spot here, maybe? I don't know if I can get it in the proper spot there. But it's down, so I'm not going to complain. I have one last piece from here. Another one of those where it might be easier. All right. Let me look at the book real quick, and then we'll go from there. Yeah, okay. So, I think we're just going to roll without this cover being on here and hope that putting this in place does not cause any kind of negative impact. All right, that's everything on that part. Make sure this fits in here the way it's supposed to. And it does. There we go. Okay. Next part is over here. All right, and this is going to be parts from 63. We only have 3 parts right now for 63. Well, I did it again. I dropped a little bitty piece. Unfortunately, it was round, and off it is. It's the very last piece I got to put in. So, what I'm going to do is go ahead and put these parts in, and then I'll look for that and later and try to get it put in. So, let's go ahead and just move forward with this because it's a much better option than the alternative. And if I don't find it right away, I'll just end the video, and if I get it found, I will update you when we get into the painting part. So let's go ahead and try to get this situated so we can work on it. So these ones, they're very distinctive. It's got one long leg and one short leg, and the short leg goes to the top. So that way you can tell which side goes where. All that's left is the little round piece that goes there. I'm going to proceed with looking for that, and if I find it before I decide I'm done, I'll show you putting that in. Otherwise, I'll just come back and sign off, and we'll end this video. So either way, I'll see you in a little bit. Welcome back, everybody. So I recorded the footage, and I made this, and this is supposed to replace the part that I missed or I dropped. I cannot find it anywhere. Very last piece. Not pleased with how this came out. First of all, this is too big, and it's a little odd shaped. So I'm going to try doing it again. I'm going to go a little bit different because this is the smallest tube that I have. So what I'm going to try to do is actually narrow up the tube just a little bit. Well, I stuck it inside of here because I couldn't seem to hold it well enough or whatever to ensure that it was going to stay together. Hopefully, it doesn't glue itself to this thing. If it does, I'll just see if I can cut this away without splitting that seam open. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. Yep, pushed it back out. It's kind of staying together. So here's the seam. Can you see that? You can make out the seam there. So I'm going to let it sit, and we'll see how well it goes. Obviously, there's going to be a little bit of cleanup. I'm going to have to clean up these edges, and plus it's too tall. Let's not drop this. It's too tall, but that's okay because I wanted to. It needs to have a slight angle put on it from back to front, and then also what I want to do is I need to put this rod on. So what I did was on this one I just cut a couple little pieces and glued it on the side. I'm not really happy with how that went. So this time what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to drill a hole straight through, and then I can actually put the rod in the hole. So we'll see how that goes, if I can find a drill bit that fits this size, whether it's in my hand drill or I may have a drill bit small enough in my other set. And just like I said, just go straight through. But first thing I need to do is make sure this is going to set up, cut the shape. So to cut out this disc, I bought this plug cutter set. It's for woodworking. This hole is going to be, or this disc is going to be too big, but hopefully we can kind of adjust it. All right, I'm going to let that set up nice and good. As you can see, the seam came undone, and that's mostly from when I was doing the extra carving and stuff. But what I'm going to do is I'll fill that gap with putty, and we'll have some shaping to do and whatnot. Unfortunately, this is going to take me a lot longer than what I was hoping, so we'll just let it dry, come back, do some work on it, and all that kind of stuff. So we'll see you when we come back. Okay, everything's dried, at least as of right now. I went ahead and put some lines on here so I can drill these holes out. I want to go probably about halfway up, so this might be a little bit difficult. We'll see how this goes to at least get it started anyway. So one of the reasons why I wanted to put the hole in is because I did not want to rely on just the glue holding it in place. So I'm going to add this putty now while I have it, because before I put the pieces in through the sides, because I'm going to, because that's very flat, I'm going to fill in some of this edging here to give it some shape, as well as fill in that crack in the front. And that's going to give me something I can shape and kind of give it a little bit more kind of form, as opposed to just this thin little plastic. Okay, I'm going to let that dry, and then it'll be time to use some files and whatnot to give it some shape. So we'll see you guys when it's all dry and we're ready for that phase. Well, this should be dry, so I'm going to get out the files and start working on filing this down. Let me get some of the riff raff out. So I have every confidence that not long after I complete this and glue it down, I'm going to find that one missing piece, which will drive me nuts. But yeah, that's just what I expect to have happen. I would say I've got it cleaned up. So I just really wanted to add a little bit of thickness to the base here. And so that way I could have a little bit more kind of shape to it and size and all that kind of stuff. So let's go ahead and add these parts. All right, I'll give this just a little bit of time to dry, and then I will I'll probably maybe sand the bottom just a little bit, get some of those. Let's see if you can see them. So along the bottom, there's kind of like little bits sticking down. So I'll sand that just a smidge, and then it'll be time to paint it. That's right. Okay. We will come back when this is all painted, and we'll be able to uh, get it mounted. See you guys after a bit. Welcome back, everyone. So here we go. Here is the piece that I created. It's been painted and all that kind of fun stuff. Although I feel like I did about as good of a job recreating that as I could, I still am holding out hope that I will find that piece. Like it'll just magically show up, because honestly, it makes zero sense that I can't find it. I, I do all my modeling in the basement. It's concrete, and other than being stuck to a dust bunny someplace that I just haven't seen yet or cleaned up, I have no idea where it's at, and it bothers me. First of all, I don't like losing things, especially stuff that it's like it should be right there. Second of all, I don't like the idea of not the very last piece not having the right thing. So just to kind of show the differences, so you can see the difference between the first one that I did and the second one. So I like how the second one came out a lot better, being smaller, narrower. Um, so I like that. We can throw away that first iteration of it, but I would prefer to have the real thing. So I'm just going to hold on to this. We'll just put that right there. And I wanted to show off, you guys remember the whole issue with the screws. It comes with plastic ones. I wanted metal ones. So what I did while I was painting this piece, I went ahead and painted these. You'll notice that the sides are not completely painted, but that's fine because you're pretty much only going to see the top. So there may need to be some touch up after I get the Allen head in there to tighten them up, but these are all done. So I'm going to stick those in there as well, because those will not be needed until we attach the back section to it. So one of the things I'm going to do, and this is going to end not only issue 100, but also the official build of this. Yeah, so there's a piece that I had to recreate. So this will finish the official build of this model. For now, I still need to get one of these batteries, a 23AE 12-volt battery. I need to get one of those for the remote. I haven't gotten that yet, but I do have some pieces such as this piece here that I don't know if this was just an extra piece, meaning that I had already, like, some, how some of the things I had multiples of them. Maybe this was one of the ones that I had multiples of. And so that's why I just had this extra one. I accidentally cut it out or something. So that I don't know. So what I'm going to do is In between now and when I start doing the painting, I'm going to go through every issue and make sure that the parts that are in there, I have in fact installed. So I will look for any pieces that still need to get done, and then I'll do a supplemental of doing those installations for any of those pieces, to include this one if I find that it needs to be done. So I'm going to set that with those other pieces as well. And if I find none, then the next video, aside from the review of this issue, so we'll do one last magazine review, but the next video in this series will be of painting if I don't find any more pieces that actually need to be attached. Some things, such as these getting attached, I'm going to wait until I'm ready to start um, putting the flat paint on there. Pieces such as this goes on the mandible. I think what I may need to do is wait until I actually attach the top and the bottom together, so I can put this on the mandible. Um, uh, I'll double check that. If I can put it on before then, I'll put it on and I'll record it. And then um, if it's a standalone thing, I'll just add it to my painting video or something. But if there's other parts that I need to get attached, it'll be part of that supplemental. So anyway, that should take care of everything. Never thought that this day would come. I also never thought that I would lose the very last piece that I needed to get attached. So I want to thank you all for watching for this entire series, and know that there's going to be more to come, and hopefully those additional videos will prove to be interesting for you and anybody else. I'm thinking of, instead of doing the airbrushing over in the other area, I'm thinking about doing it here at this desk. So I'll need to bring my airbrush over here to do it. So I might do some kind of trial on that to see how well it will work over here, because the nice thing is the airbrush doesn't create too much dust, unlike a rattle can. So I might be able to do it here, especially some of the finer stuff. It'll make it easier for me to record if I do it here. So we'll see how that goes. Anyway, thank you again, and may the force be with you always.